To save drafts of repetitive emails that you frequently send out to your team members, such as weekly meeting minutes or monthly business updates. So let's start with why save drafts of your email messages. The first is to improve communication with your team members, and that's because they'll get used to a specific format of repetitive updates and they'll know where to look for specific information. The second is that they help with email archives and retrieval. So by using similar subject lines within your templates, it's going to be a lot easier for you to search through your sent mailbox to see what specific emails you have sent out, as well as for your recipients to see what emails they've received from you over time. And then a third advantage is that it saves you time and increases your own productivity because you don't have to rewrite the emails every time or have to think about it over and over. And save drafts are great for repetitive team emails such as status updates, meeting minutes, regular announcements such as monthly business updates, or anything like compliance reminders as well. So let me share an example of an email that I save as a draft on a weekly basis for my own team. So here's the email with the specific subject line of actions and recording, and then a date, and then the subject of the actual email, which is a PMO weekly meeting. And I use this template for a subject so that over time my team is used to a specific format and they can easily retrieve the messages from their inbox. And the email template has a very simple structure. So we've got a quick summary here, which is 5 sentences or less, as we talked about in an earlier video. You've got the details here that kind of deep dive into some of the additional information they need. And then there's a certain section here for a meeting recording that I use for the meeting link for those of my team members that could not attend the meeting. And you'll notice that some of my previous tips apply here, such as the 3 W's, where I've got the who, the what, and then the when. And I use bullet points all over to make it easy on the eyes. So let's talk about how to save drafts. And really, there are multiple ways in which you can do that. One is to use a simple word processor, such as Microsoft Word. And very simply, what you can do is copy paste that email in a Microsoft Word document over here. And then if you'll notice, what I did was I left some of those as a template with the X's for the date. And then I left some of this empty here where I can just fill in the blanks on the details and the quick summary and then add the link here for the meeting recording on a weekly basis. All I do is simply just fill in the blanks again on this information and I send it out to my team and they get used to seeing this weekly. Another option is to use templates in Gmail. So in Gmail, you simply click on compose a new message and then populate it with the subject line as well as the template that we discussed earlier. And then in the bottom right, you see those 3 dots. If you click on them, it gives you more options and you'll get this menu bar where you click on templates and then save draft as template and save as new template. And you'll get a window pop up where you can enter a new template name. It sort of pre-populates the subject line here for you. So whatever subject line you had, it just saves you a couple of seconds there, and then you hit save. And then at any point in the future, you can compose a new message and then head over to those 3 dots in the bottom right again and click on templates, and you'll have your template saved there under insert template. You can do this with multiple messages and give them different subject lines so you can easily find them. And then once you click on your template, it automatically pre-populates all of that for you and you can fill in the details, right? So really great time saver there. And then with Outlook, you can also use their templates feature there. Works in a similar fashion. So, add in your template that you want to save and then click on File and then click on Save As. And then under the file name, it also populates the same subject line for you. And then it's under Save As Type, select Outlook Template. And then hit Save. And then in the future, if you want to create a new message from that template, instead of hitting New Email, you want to click on New Items. And then on the menu that pops up, click on More Items. And then from that next pop-up that shows up, click on Choose Form. And then after you select that, you get another window where under the Look In section, click on that drop-down and select User Templates in File System. And you'll get another pop-up there that shows you all the different templates. As a joke, I kind of added in blah, blah, blah there. but the actions recording there shows up as well. Select that and click on open, and then it'll simply open up that message for you. Now, I know that with Outlook, it's a few more steps, so that's a little bit of a disadvantage compared to Gmail. However, the advantage about templates in Outlook is that they're saved as what's called OFT files. So .oft files, and what that means is that you can basically share some of those templates with other members on your team. So you can simply send them those OFT files, and then they can import them into their own version of Outlook and kind of use those same templates so that you can save them time as well. All right, and with that, a quick summary. Save drafts of repetitive emails such as regular status updates, announcements, compliance reminders, etc. to improve communication flow with your team and save yourself some time and increase your productivity. And then use a word processor such as Microsoft Word or your email program, Gmail, Outlook, or what have you, to save templates off your drafts. Thanks so much for watching, and in the next video, we'll talk about a really cool feature called delayed delivery. So this is one of my favorite tactics in this entire course. In this video, we'll discuss how to write an email now and send it later using a feature called delayed delivery. We'll also discuss why you should use it and how it can help you out. So let's start with what is delayed delivery, for those of you who don't know. That's basically a feature in Microsoft Outlook that allows you to write an email message now and automatically send it at a later time or date. And that could be a few minutes to a few weeks later. In fact, you can even schedule it a few months or even a year or two in advance. And most email programs have this as an existing built-in feature. They just call it a different name. I think one is called like Send Later, but some do require an additional plugin. And what that means is an additional piece of software that you either purchase or download for free and kind of install on your system. And even though I'm covering only Microsoft Outlook in this video, simply Google how do I delay sending my emails using your own program to learn about how to use it in your own tool. So let me go over a quick demo on how to use delayed delivery in Microsoft Outlook. All right, so this is an email message I just typed to Sam, asking him not to forget to download the report before his executive meeting because he might not have access to it on site. And this is the sort of email I want to send ahead of time so that it serves as a reminder for Sam right before his meeting. And just as a side note here, I'm using the Outlook 365 version, so what I'm about to show you might be a little bit different in your own version of Outlook. But basically what you do to send an email using delayed delivery is you go here to the top where it says options and click on that. And then click on this icon over here that says delayed delivery. And then it'll pop up this window that gives you an option that says do not deliver before and a specific date and a specific time that you can select. So you can go out anytime into the future, let's say September 21st, and then choose a time. I usually like to send it again during business hours, so let's say 3 p.m. for Sam. And what happens here is that once you set the date and time, Outlook will not deliver that email before that time or date. And the reason why the phrase says do not deliver before instead of send at that time or date is because two conditions need to be met to send the email. The first is you have to be connected to the internet, obviously. And then the second is you have to have Microsoft Outlook open and running. And if either one of those conditions is not met, then the email will be sent out as soon as both of those are met right after that time and date. And another thing I want to point out is that that time and date is your own time zone. So if your recipient lives in a different time zone, then you want to make sure that you do that conversion on their behalf. And once that's set, simply click on close, and you'll notice that the delayed delivery icon is highlighted, and then hit send. And what will happen after that is your email will be saved in your outbox, and it just sits there until you want to send it. Now you can delete it or edit it if you change your mind about the contents of the email or you decide you don't want to send it anymore. And it's as simple as that. All right, so that was the demo on how to use delayed delivery. Now let's talk about when to use delayed delivery. And there are really a couple of scenarios on when you can use it. The first is to send emails when they're most likely to be read. And then the second is to send emails as a reminder tool. And I'll talk about each here in a second. So the first is to use delayed delivery to send emails when they're most likely to be read. Now, according to some studies, email gets responded to faster during working hours. Now, this isn't a very surprising study, but it's good to know that it's backed by research of millions and millions of emails using big data analytics. And so what this means is that if you're typing an email on a late Friday afternoon, then it's best to use delayed delivery to send it out the following Monday morning so that it doesn't get buried over the weekend. I know for a fact that this is exactly what happens to me. If someone sends me an email on a Friday late evening, then I'm not going to get to it until Monday morning. And it would be a lot better if someone had sent me that email on that Monday morning as opposed to Friday when I have 350 emails in my inbox over the weekend. And you can also use delayed delivery when someone lives in a different time zone or when someone is out on vacation. So if you know for a fact that someone lives in a different country and their working hours are different from yours, use delayed delivery to send those emails during that time window. The second is to use delayed delivery as a reminder tool. And the best way to explain that is to show you an example of what I usually do. So let's say we take a typical month, let's say this is February, and that today is the 1st of February, and there's a due date for a compliance training exercise on the 28th. What I usually do is I send an email on the 1st, which is today, to ask my team to complete that training by the 28th. But then what I also do is I send 2 additional emails. One around a week early, so let's say on the 20th of February, and then another just a couple of days before as a final reminder. And here's an example of what goes into those emails. So I send an email to my team with a subject line of training due February 28, 2024, close of business. And I ask my team to please make sure you complete your XYZ mandatory compliance training by the end of day on February 28, 2024. Simple message. Again, I send it a month in advance, and what happens is only 30% probably of my team is actually going to remember to actually do this by the due date. So to avoid worrying about it, I send an email a week in advance on the 20th that serves as an additional reminder, and I kind of change the subject line here to reflect a different reminder. And I ask the team as a friendly reminder to make sure they complete it. And then the day or a couple of days before the due date, I give them a final reminder so that they know that they need to complete it by that date and that I'm not sending any more reminders. Again, it just takes the worry off my own mind. I do that a month in advance and I don't have to think about it twice. All right, and as a bonus tip, it's a good idea to CC yourself. So a best practice is to carbon copy yourself on your delayed messages so that you ensure that the messages are sent if you're concerned about the technology failing on you, right? So a lot of people think, well, what if it doesn't actually send it? A good way is to CC yourself, and that way you'll get the same message that they do. And you'll also get a nice nudge about the email notice at the same time that your recipients get it. All right, so that's it. Let's wrap up with a quick summary. So use delayed delivery in Microsoft Outlook to write messages now and send them at a later date or time. And then schedule emails to be sent during regular working hours so that they're read and responded to a lot faster. And then use the delayed delivery feature as a reminder tool for your team members, and make sure you CC yourself as well to ensure that the emails are sent. That's it. Thank you so much for watching.